Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. The reason you haven't seen either one of us, Mike has been busy working. Of course, since they're trying to wrap things up and get all the birds delivered, the farm has been really busy, so he's been working a lot of extra days and hours. And I am editing 3 videos, so thought I would just do this real quick and get this up quickly. I want to thank everybody so much. I want to thank our source for sending the Canada court documents that they have so far. And I guess there was a revision to some of the paperwork, so I'm going to put the link down below to that. And I haven't had a chance to read them all, so I don't know all what is going on with that class action suit in Canada. And I want to thank Andrew for sending me the link to this article. And I'll put the link down below. It's from Australia. And the name of the article is, "I Cannot Comprehend. Sex Abuse Royal Commissioner Slams Catholic Leaders." The head of Australia's Royal Commission into Child Sex Abuse has condemned Catholic Church leaders for failing to recognize the sexual assault of children as a crime. Sound familiar? It was only recently that Watchtower started admitting it was a crime, but prior to this year, it was only a sin. On with the article. Speaking publicly about the Royal Commission for the first time, Justice Peter McClellan said on Tuesday that commissioners had heard from many leaders of the Catholic Church, some of whom argued sexual abuse was a moral failure rather than a criminal act. "I cannot comprehend how any person, much less one with qualifications in theology, could consider the rape of a child to be a moral failure but not a crime," Justice McClellan said in a speech to the Australian Human Rights Commission. This statement by leaders of the Catholic Church marks out the corruption within the Church, both within Australia and it seems from reports in many other parts of the world. And we know Jehovah's Witnesses, it's a worldwide problem. Rather than ensuring that offenders were subject to the criminal law, ineffectual attempts at treatment of offenders was undertaken by the Church, he said. And we see the same thing in Watchtower. Now, speaking of the Catholic Church and their treatment centers, they even had one here in New Mexico. And guess what happened? Those priests that were at the treatment center, the rehabilitation center up north, abused more children. The Royal Commission delivered its exhaustive 17-volume report in 2017. Commissioners found the innocence and future of thousands of children over generations had been wrested from them by sexual predators. They described the nature of that abuse as a national failure so heinous it was difficult to comprehend. About 60% of survivors abused in a religious institution told the Commission they suffered abuse in a Roman Catholic institution. Now I'm going to skip down a little bit to this paragraph here. Justice McClellan said he was disheartened to read media reports about delays in institutions signing up to the National Redress Scheme for survivors, which allows them to access counseling, a personal response, and a financial payment. I hope this is not because of a desire to put the protection of the institution's assets ahead of the needs of survivors. A not uncommon response in the evidence the Commission received, he said. I can tell you that's exactly why Watchtower hasn't joined the redress scheme. Because then they would have to admit they had a problem, they would have to join it and fork over money, and they might actually have to apologize to all the abuse survivors. So you can see why some of these institutions that were accused and found guilty of not protecting children wouldn't want to join it, because then you would have to admit you have a big problem. And we know Watchtower isn't going to want to do that, because then that would bring reproach on Jehovah's name and the congregation. But you know what? If nothing else, this Australian Royal Commission is still doing its job. We still get contacted by Jehovah's Witnesses who are leaving and say that it was because of the Australian Royal Commission that they stumble on it. So it's still working. It's still doing its job. It's still waking up Jehovah's Witnesses. And I know many Jehovah's Witnesses who have typed in, Jehovah's Witnesses, or gone to Wikipedia or something like that and typed in Jehovah's Witnesses, and this stuff comes up. So they are investigating. They are researching. All right, so I'm going to put the link down below because this is interesting, and it does have a connection with Watchtower, because we know Watchtower hasn't joined the redress scheme as of a few months ago, because I had mentioned that in a video. And I got a letter here this morning. I want to thank our source very much. Thank you. And this is from the branch in Germany to all congregations in the branch area of Central Europe. Important information about the special sermon campaign in Bolivia. Dear brothers, unfortunately we must inform you that the special preaching activity in Low German language in Bolivia cannot take place at the planned 2020 date. Due to political unrest, the governing body has decided to take this action to postpone to April-May of 2021. As soon as we have further information, we will inform you accordingly. We live in critical times where unexpected events can occur at any time. Confident that their understanding of the concern of senior management, the Corporation for the Safety of the Brotherhood, we would like to be with all thanks who were willing to spend time and energy to deliver the good message to carry to the farthest parts of the earth. This was translated, that's why it's just a little bit off. And the source who sent it to me makes a good point, and I want to read his comment. If the Watchtower has the authority to call off a preaching campaign, then aren't they saying that they are the responsible party in charge of these campaigns? And if they are the responsible organization in charge of these campaigns, then anyone who was hurt, injured, killed, abused, raped, or anything else while preaching in a campaign could legally sue the Watchtower for damages. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but the thing is if they are the ones responsible, what about those women from Japan that were killed in that foreign country for, I can't remember if they were missionaries or special pioneers. So Watchtower would be responsible for that. They would be blood guilty for that. So anyway, and also our source sent us the letters, elders' letters and announcements for the congregation for December. And a lot of it was the same old usual garbage, but I did notice one small little paragraph at the bottom. And Jehovah's Witnesses are allowed now, every time they show somebody a video from jw.org, they can count that as a placement. So now I know why they do these book fairs and county fairs and state fairs and things like that, swap meets. And they have a TV screen up showing like Caleb and Sophia videos. Now I know why they do that, because every time they play it, they can count it as a placement. So it just shows how desperate and pathetic they are getting anymore. I just want to thank everybody so much for the Christmas cards and gifts, and we just got a Graham Hancock book yesterday. Thank you very much. Good thing we have a small post office and they recognized the name because the address wasn't correct. But thank you. We appreciate it. Mike took it to read at lunchtime today. And also I want to thank the Facebook group so much who are gathering names for the nail and coffin, and we will be doing that probably on December 31st so that we can get the year totals for the nail and coffin. So we appreciate that. And if anybody, needs to contact me or wants to be a nail in the coffin, just put nail in coffin in the subject line or urgent. And it's KimmyMBrooks@gmail.com. And please don't bother my daughter on Facebook. She just doesn't have time to answer all of these messages from XJWs. She left the XJW community, several years ago, and she just can't, between work full time and everything else she has to do, she just can't answer your messages. So thank you, and you can email me. So you all have a wonderful day. Bye.